once you get outside of that kind of stuff, right? So Like a Dragon Gaiden, right? There's that, but there's also the demo for Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth that I'm going to be dabbling into as well. So if this segment is going to be like 10 minutes at least, then you kind of know why. So let's try and get to the point, okay? So pretty much what this game is, Like a Dragon Gaiden, it's like set like after the events of Yakuza 6, and it's set in between Yakuza 7, and it's this tale of how Kiryu comes back as this guy called Joryu, and he tries to kind of like erase the past and make sure his future is the best for his family and the people around him and things of that nature. So that's the story itself, right? So what do I like about this game? What's about it? What other stuff related to it? So, Like a Dragon Gaiden, I've got to say, right, they somehow pull this off again, but we've got another Yakuza game where I definitely have had a very good time playing this game, not only on the level of like the story, right? There's only like 5 chapters, and it's like 8 to 10 hours of an experience for the story, and then there's all the side content, right? And you've also got Nishtani the Third in there. You've also got this whole thing about the Daidoji faction and stuff like that. You've also got the Omi Alliance. So the Omi Alliance have definitely been in the Yakuza games before. And there is some new characters like the Akame character who gives you all these quests you have to do, like level up and stuff like that. There's this whole battle arena stuff. There's quite a lot to do in this game, and let's touch on the fighting styles as well because they are definitely very decent. So the two fighting styles is Yakuza and Agent. So I did mention these like in a previous episode in the James Ramon show when this game got announced in the summit and stuff like that. But the Yakuza style is kind of like your regular beat 'em up punching and stuff like that, and like throwing chairs around and doing all these kind of punching moves. Well, then you get to the Agent style where you've got Joryu. He's got all these gadgets and he's doing these moves. Right, there's this one move called like this one special ability you have called Hornet, where you summon these drones to attack enemies. Then you've got like this cigarette that has a bomb and it like blows up everything in the background and enemies and stuff like that. And then you've also got the spider, which I think I did mention in a previous episode, where there's like these people were memeing about how it's Spider-Man on Twitter. Well, it's definitely like Kiryu turning into Spider-Man because he has like this web and he like ragdolls these enemies around and throws them around the room and around all these areas that you go to. And I definitely had a good time with those, but what they never really showed off in those summits and those showcases was this whole like serpent move where you're actually like you have like rocket on your like it feels like there's rockets on your feet where you're flying around. It's like it's moving around and it's just very very fun as well. Like the combat is also very smooth. Like when you're fighting, it's not like it's slow or it renders poorly. No, you actually move around smoothly. It kind of reminds me of Lost Judgment, where the combat was so fluid. It just all flows really well. It's all fast paced. It's all well timed, and there's definitely that when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I did also notice that this game got like 10 out of 10 on Steam, and it also got 7 out of 10 on IGN. But I would not give Like a Dragon Gaiden a 10 out of 10. Like I enjoy the game, but it's not like the best Yakuza game ever. Right, so you definitely get that, but there's also a few more other things I wanted to touch on, right? It's like I don't think this should be your first Yakuza game either, especially because there's this whole thing about the fake Ryuji and then Kiryu and there's all references to the previous games that if you were to just say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go play Like a Dragon first without playing Yakuza 0 or anything like that. So it's completely different to the Judgment games and what I said about that. Like if you find it too daunting, you don't want to play you want to play Judgment first, but it's completely different with Gaiden because obviously it still connects to those games and stuff like that. So for me personally, I'd give Like a Dragon Gaiden like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 or something like that. And I did hear that there's this whole controversy with this voice actor who plays Kiryu in like Yakuza Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth called Young Ye. He's like this famous YouTuber or whatever. And there's all that controversy going on, but But so that's my take on Like a Dragon Gaiden. I do think I recommend it to like people who've already played the Yakuza games and stuff like that. So once we dive outside of that kind of stuff, right, I pretty much just emphasize to you that I could go on for on and on and on and on about this game, the whole side content, the whole Akame network with all of those missions you do for that Akame character. There is so much to go over, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that because I've just laid it out for you. So the other thing that I was going to talk about was the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth demo, which actually came with Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. So what did I think about that? So for those wondering, right, it's this demo that comes with the game, right? And it's got the Hawaii demo and the story demo. But the thing is with this whole kind of demo is that you're not actually playing the entire game, which would make no sense because it's a demo, it's just a demonstration. So I want to say you're pulled like randomly to this certain point in Yakuza 8 where you're like level 16 with Ichiban and Kiryu. You fight these enemies and you kind of get a taste of some of the story and kind of try it out, sort of thing. And then the Hawaii demo is sort of like doing all these sub stories and these mini games. Like there's a crazy delivery where you're on this bike, you're flipping it around, you get all these burgers and pizzas and all that, you deliver it to these people. So there's quite a lot to do there as well. And there's the combat as well, which is pretty decent, right? Because I did mention how I did talk about a couple, I think it was when they showed off some gameplay for Yakuza 8 where they showed the combat and how you could move around while doing the JRPG sort of combat system. Well, yeah, it's definitely present here. Like in Yakuza 7, you just stood still the whole time, but in this game, you actually move around, and you've also got a mixture of beat 'em up because Kiryu, when you play with Kiryu as his character, right, you actually can fight them and beat 'em up, and so it's not these JRPG over the top special effect kind of looking moves, and so that is kind of my thoughts on that. And there's not a whole lot because I think the story demo was 30 minutes and the gameplay demo could be an hour or two depending on all the mini games and all these kind of side things that you can sort of do. So that is kind of another time where we have absolutely been dabbling into the world of Yakuza. I could, like I said, right, I could go on and on and on about this game. I mean, I've also got like 45% of the achievements in Like a Dragon Gaiden. I've been going all out with this game recently, and I'm just glad that Yakuza never disappoints once more. So once we get outside of that kind of stuff where I'm talking about